I've got a good friend who's a teacher in Arkansas at the Joe T. Robinson High School. Her name is Martha Cothren. And Martha, on the first day of class, 2005, almost exactly 2 years ago this week, having decided that a lot of her kids simply just didn't really appreciate their freedom, decided she'd try a little experiment on the first day of school. So what Martha did was she took all of the desk out of her classroom. Every desk removed from her class, first day of school. Kids came in first period, empty class. They walked in, they looked around, they said, "Miss Cothren, where are our desks?" And she said, "You don't get a desk until you can tell me how you earn one." And the kids said, "Well, I guess we have to make good grades." And she said, "Well, you need to make good grades, but that's not how you get a desk." And so some of them said, "Well, it's our behavior. We have to behave. Then you give us a desk." She says, "Well, you better behave in here, but that's not how you get a desk." Second period came. Nobody figured it out. They'd come in, they'd sit on the floor, stand against the wall. Third period, same thing. By lunch that day, all those kids had called their parents on their cell phones and said, "Miss Cothren's lost her mind. She's taken the desk out of the classroom." Everyone, we have 4 network-affiliated television stations in Little Rock. All 4 had camera crews out at Joe T. Robinson High School at noon that day to figure out what had happened to this teacher who had taken all the desks from the school and wouldn't let the kids have a place to sit. She held her ground until the last period. Last class, kids filed in. They looked around, no desk. Of course, buzz of the campus is, "What's happened to Miss Cothren? She's gone crazy." Kids came in and sat on the floor, stood against the wall. And she said, "All day I've been asking you to tell me how you get a desk. None of you figured it out." So she said, "I guess I'm going to have to explain it to you." And with that, Martha Cothren walked over to the door of her classroom, and she opened the door. And when she did, in walked 27 veterans, every one of them coming in carrying a school desk. They placed those desks in rows, and when they had finished placing them and setting them up for the class, they stood over against the wall as if at attention. And as they did so, Martha was saying to the students, "Guys, you don't have to earn your desk after all, because these guys, they already did." Martha Cothren told them that every day you come in here and sit in these desks, I want you to never forget that it may be free to you, but it wasn't to these guys and to some of their friends who didn't come back with them. And she went on to explain something I think every student ought to grow up in this country understanding, that we are so blessed to live in this great land. But our freedom wasn't free. It was costly, and it will be costly in the future. And the greatest challenge we have is to be like that generation before us, upon whose shoulders we have lived the good life we've enjoyed, and to realize that our responsibility is not only to protect it and to preserve it, but the greatest responsibility of all is to make sure that we pass it on to the next generation in as good a shape as we found it. Ladies and gentlemen, leadership in this country has got to do more than simply look at where we are. Leadership has got to look at where we're going and to make sure that the next generation coming up, that generation that's perhaps not even born yet, has a better America than the great one that we've inherited and the one for which we are incredibly responsible and had better be grateful to an almighty God for. Thank you, and God bless you. It's been a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you.